Arizona. Adam, get everybody caught up.
Well, the Arizona Cardinals informed Kyler Murray today that when the new league year begins next week, that they intend to release him if they cannot find a trade partner. That trade partner is not expected to materialize. They had conversations at the Combine. There was not a lot of interest then. Kyler Murray is due $36.8 million in guaranteed money for the upcoming year. And that means that with that guaranteed money coming in, Arizona will play him this week or this year, and Kyler Murray can choose where he'd like to go and play at the number that he'd like to play at. So if he prefers to go to a team where he could back up a quarterback and be in a strong organization, that's his choice. If he wants to be a starter and make more money, he can do that. But Kyler Murray now is in the driver's seat. He is expected to have his freedom as of next Wednesday, 4 p.m. Eastern, when he will become a free agent and be allowed to strike a deal with another team, and he becomes the newest free agent quarterback available here, Dan.
Of course, if he's still on the Arizona roster late next week, it would have had guaranteed money in 2027, so this move avoids that. Kyler Murray posted a goodbye to Arizona on X moments ago. He tweeted, quote, "To everyone that supported me and showed kindness to my family and I during my time in Arizona, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I wanted nothing more than to be the one to end the 77-year drought for this organization. I am sorry I failed us. I wish this community and my brothers nothing but the best. I am no stranger to adversity. I am prepared for whatever's next. I trust in God and my work ethic. I truly believe my best ball is in front of me, and I look forward to proving it. Godspeed." So Kyler out in Arizona, and how about this? Jordan Reed has the Cardinals trading back up into the first round to take a quarterback at 28 overall in his latest mock draft. That quarterback is Ty Simpson of Alabama. So, Jordan, take us through your thought process there on the Cardinals landing Ty Simpson.
Well, one of the worst kept secrets at the Combine was Kyler Murray not being on the roster next year for the Arizona Cardinals. So my thinking behind that was, this is a clear landing spot for a young quarterback. And then also, how about them catapulting over the Rams, who I think is another team that could be in the market for a young quarterback that's in the division as well. You look at the landing spot for him with Mike LaFleur that has a lot of Sean McVay type of principles. I think Ty fits really well in that type of offense just because he's really good with playing on time. He does really well with exhausting progressions, getting to that third, fourth, fifth option, all the way back to the backside dig and the check down, which is some of the things that he's going to have to do in the LaFleur's offense. They also have Jacoby Brissett already there under contract. We'll see if he's going to be there this upcoming season. But you have to remember, Ty only has 15 career starts, which is very dangerous territory when we're talking about taking a quarterback in the first round. So he's not going to be ready initially. So you have to have that placeholder in place. But as far as the schematic fit, I really like it with LaFleur's offense.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And when you said jump up above the Rams, I agree with you because I really like his fit with the Rams and Sean McVay. If not, then why not go to Arizona and Mike LaFleur? And you look at this offense, right? It is all timing-based offense. Put Ty Simpson under center, put him in the shotgun, run some RPOs. Very intermediate and short routes are thrown. A lot of motions, a lot of personnel groupings to try and trick the defense. And you hit the nail on the head, Jordan. I think that he does need to actually sit for a little bit. That's why I like the Rams for him. So if he does end up getting to the Arizona Cardinals, I like the fact that Jacoby Brissett may be playing and starting similar to sort of like a Drake May type thing, which he's had that happen before. I just think that Ty Simpson definitely needs a little bit of help getting ready to make that next jump to the NFL.
And Jacoby Brissett is just the kind of quarterback that you want around to tutor a young quarterback. He's somebody that many teams have gravitated to in the past. They'll continue to gravitate toward him in the future. He's made of the right stuff and the kind of guy you want on your 53-man roster and in your locker room. But the Cardinals still are expected to add to that quarterback room. Everybody knows that Mike LaFleur, brother of Matt LaFleur, who coached Malik Willis, maybe they're interested in Malik Willis. Maybe they want to wait. But they are expected to add another quarterback to that roster with Kyler Murray's departure. We'll see whether they decide to do it through free agency, a trade, the draft. They're going to have some options with the third overall pick in the draft. That's not quarterback range, but maybe they decide to parlay that pick into more picks in the 2027 draft that is so loaded with so many top quarterback prospects. Who knows?
And if they do as Jordan suggested and end up with Ty Simpson, they're getting a guy that started out hot last year, had a rough second half, but maybe in position to turn it around if he lands in the right spot in the NFL. The deadline to put the franchise and transition tag on players passed about a half hour ago, so Adam Schefter, get everybody caught up with what happened, starting with the Jets and Breece Hall.
Yeah, we're going to start with Breece Hall, Dan, and he got the franchise tag today. The Jets went back and forth about whether to do the franchise tag, the transition tag, and ultimately they had a sense that there would be some interest in Breece Hall around the league. They didn't want to lose him. They tried to work out a long-term deal. The long-term deal did not materialize, and when it didn't, they placed the franchise tag on him earlier today. He's locked into New York for the upcoming season. On the other hand, the Seattle Seahawks did not tag Kenneth Walker, the Super Bowl MVP. The Seahawks would like to extend Jackson Smith-Njigba and cornerback Devin Witherspoon and re-sign other players. There is a Super Bowl tax that is paid by any Super Bowl winner, and it makes it difficult to retain everybody. Now Kenneth Walker allowed to become a free agent. Also allowed to become a free agent, Trey Hendrickson, who bid goodbye to Cincinnati on Instagram just minutes ago with a message thanking the Houday Kingdom for its support over the years. Hendrickson now will become a free agent. He'll hit the market. He'll be one of the top defensive players available next week in the free agent pool, and he will be moving on from Cincinnati. However, right now it looks like it might be difficult for Daniel Jones to move on from Indianapolis. The Colts took the rare step of putting the transition tag on Daniel Jones. Not the franchise, but the transition. $6 million cheaper, and it gives them the ability to match any offer sheet that Daniel Jones might sign with another team. But in using the tag on Daniel Jones, the Colts could not tag wide receiver Alec Pierce, who's now allowed to become a free agent. And he is expected to be one of the more in-demand players in the free agent market next week. A lot of teams need wide receivers. You could see New England and Buffalo both being interested. However, Indianapolis is determined to try to keep Alec Pierce. They've been actively negotiating with him. We'll see if they can figure out a solution to keep him in Indianapolis, but they feel like the tag with Daniel Jones is a placeholder while they discuss a long-term deal, and they'd like to get Alec Pierce done as well. So two players who remain a top target for the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, Alec Pierce led the league in yards per reception each of the last 2 years. Will be very interesting to see if he gets to the open market, how many teams pursue him. Chase, what do you think of this decision by the Colts to prioritize the quarterback and potentially risk Alec Pierce hitting free agency?
Well, look, I played quarterback, and you guys know the most important position in football is the quarterback, so I do like it. I think that they could probably get a deal done with Alec Pierce, but when you are prioritizing Daniel Jones, that says a lot about how Shane Steichen feels about him. I love the fit for Daniel Jones in Shane Steichen's offense. And look, the first 7 or 8 games, Daniel Jones could not miss. He was the story of the NFL. The first 8 games tape was excellent, right? He's played better those 8 games, I think, than any point in his career. It was unfortunate when he got hurt. I know they lost 3 straight, but Daniel Jones was always worth an extension. I like the fact that it's a transition one, because now the player can go out and try to figure out what the market is, so the team, the Colts, don't have to overpay if you do put a franchise tag on them. Hey, Daniel, go out and see. The one team, though, guys, I would be extremely scared of is the Minnesota Vikings, who need a quarterback desperately. That's going to be interesting to actually figure out what happens there.
And, Chase, I think that's the one team that would be on the Colts' mind. The issue is, though, the Vikings are cap-strapped right now. They've got a lot of financial issues. They're obviously looking right now to deal Jonathan Grenard, their Pro Bowl pass rusher. Not easy to fit a contract like Daniel Jones into your salary cap. However, it's the quarterback position, and you do what you have to make that position work. But that was part of the Colts' thinking today in putting the transition tag on him. They retain the ability to match any offer sheet that he signs with any other team, whether that's Minnesota or not. And the NFL has banned the use of poison pills. So if Minnesota or any other team wanted to try to get creative to come up with some clause that would prevent that team from getting Daniel Jones back to the Colts. That's not allowed anymore. And so it's set up for Indianapolis to still be in a position to keep Daniel Jones in Indianapolis.
Jordan, I want to go back to Alec Pierce for a second. Colts don't have a first-round pick, result of the Sauce Gardner trade, but your latest mock draft was 2 rounds. Do you have a receiver that would work for them if they wait till the second round to do it?
Yeah, I definitely think the great thing for the Colts this year and what their line of thinking is they actually have a set price. Maybe it's 25 to 28 million, but if it goes anything over that, I think they may get a bit priced out for that. But the great thing for them is this is a great draft for those big boundary X receivers that can get vertical down the field. I'm thinking of a Chris Brazil out of Tennessee. He's one name that definitely comes to mind. Ted Hurst out of Georgia State is another name that comes to mind. But also Malachi Fields out of Notre Dame. I definitely think he slots well into this offense as well. So I definitely think the Colts have a set price that they're willing to go to. But also Chris Ballard's line of thinking could be that this is a great draft to replace Alec Pierce, especially if they want to get that big X vertical receiver that can play on the boundary and get vertical.
All right, when we come back on NFL Live, we're going to continue to dig into Jordan Reed's latest mock draft. Another team that could be looking to find a receiver in this draft could be Patrick Mahomes' Chiefs.